All right, let's get right into it. We're headed to Glasgow, Scotland's biggest city. And I want you to forget everything you think you know about those grand, maybe a little too perfect tourist destinations, because Glasgow, well, Glasgow's different. It's raw, it's real, and it has this incredible personality that's all its own. We're talking about a down-to-earth cultural capital that doesn't feel the need to shout to get your attention.
And you know what? That quote absolutely nails it. It perfectly captures the whole spirit of the city. It has this kind of quiet confidence, an authenticity that you can feel the second you step off the train. It's not putting on some big show for visitors. It's just being Glasgow.
So, to really get what makes Glasgow tick, take a look at this. This Venn diagram is just a perfect way to break down the city's soul. On one side, you've got this circle of historic wealth and grit. That's the Glasgow that was forged in the fire of the Industrial Revolution, a total powerhouse of shipbuilding and global trade, leaving behind all this magnificent Victorian architecture. But then, overlapping that, you have its modern identity, the down-to-earth sibling. You know, while its sister city, Edinburgh, is all polished and proper, Glasgow is the vibrant, artsy, unpretentious one with a legendary warmth. And it's all wrapped up perfectly in the city's motto, "People make Glasgow."
Okay, so you're sold on the vibe, right? But what about the practical stuff? How do you actually get there and, more importantly, get around once you've arrived? Let's dive into the nuts and bolts of navigating this amazing city. The good news is, getting into the city is a total breeze. If you're flying, the Glasgow Airport Express bus, that's Service 500, will zip you right into the city center in about 15 minutes. Super easy. If you're coming by train, you've got two main stations. Glasgow Central connects you to the south, so think London and Manchester. And Queen Street Station handles everything north, including that quick 50-minute hop over to Edinburgh.
But listen, for getting around inside the city, this is your secret weapon. Meet the Glasgow Subway, which everyone lovingly calls the Clockwork Orange thanks to its bright orange carriages. It's actually the third oldest metro system in the entire world, and its real genius is its simplicity. It's just one big circle, a single loop, which means it is literally impossible to get lost. It's perfect for jumping between the main areas you'll want to see.
All right, with the logistics sorted, let's get to the real heart of the matter. Because to truly understand the Glasgow you see today, the art, the buildings, that famous attitude, we've got to peel back the layers and look at the history that shaped it.
And this timeline just lays it all out beautifully. It all kicks off with the mystical dawn, when the city's patron saint, St. Mungo, set up shop. Then, fast forward a bit to 1451 for the intellectual awakening, the founding of the university, which really set the stage for centuries of big ideas. And then, bam! The golden age of industry, when the shipyards on the River Clyde made Glasgow a giant on the world stage. And finally, after some tough times, the city completely reinvented itself in the cultural renaissance, becoming the creative, artistic hub that it is today.
And of course, history isn't just about dates, it's about people. This connects those big eras to the actual visionaries who made them happen. You've got St. Mungo, the guy who started it all. You've got thinkers from the Enlightenment like James Watt. Then you have the legendary Art Nouveau architect, Charles Rennie Mackintosh. His style is practically Glasgow's signature. And maybe most importantly, you have the modern Glaswegian, the regular folks and street artists who are constantly reshaping the city's identity.
So, here's the really cool part. You can literally read this history on the streets. As you walk around, look for the towering Gothic arches of Glasgow Cathedral, a rare medieval gem. Then you'll see the massive, super ornate city chambers, just dripping with Victorian splendor paid for by all that industrial money. And then keep your eyes peeled for the Mackintosh trademark. Those unique, pioneering Art Nouveau touches you'll spot on buildings like the famous Willow Tea Rooms.
Okay, now that you've got the backstory, let's start building your cultural to-do list. This is your essential guide to the absolute must-see sites that really define what Glasgow is all about.
And your first stop is this incredible pair of landmarks sitting right next to each other. On the left, you've got the Glasgow Cathedral. It's this breathtaking piece of Scottish Gothic architecture from the 1100s, and it's one of the very few medieval cathedrals on the Scottish mainland that survived the Reformation. Then, right next door, is the Necropolis. It's a spectacular Victorian cemetery, a city of the dead that's just full of amazing sculptures and monuments. Pro tip, hike to the top for some of the absolute best views of the whole city.
Now, this is the University of Glasgow, and seriously, it feels like you've walked straight onto the set of a Harry Potter movie. The vibe is just pure magic. Those incredible cloisters you see in the picture have shown up in shows like Outlander, and the whole campus is a masterpiece. But you know what the best part is? The grounds are totally free and open to the public. You can just wander in and explore to your heart's content. Okay, Glasgow is packed with some of the UK's best museums, so how do you choose? Well, this handy little chart breaks it down for you. If you want a grand, eclectic mix of everything, from a famous Salvador Dalí painting to natural history, you go to Kelvin Grove. If you're into stunning modern architecture and transportation history, the Riverside Museum is a must. And for something more provocative and contemporary right in the city center, Goma is your spot. That's where you'll find the city's unofficial mascot, the Duke of Wellington statue that always has a traffic cone on its head.
And this right here, this is one of the absolute best things about Glasgow's culture scene. The cost to get into all three of those incredible world-class museums? A big fat zero. Yep, it is completely and totally free, which makes Glasgow an unbelievably budget-friendly city for anyone who loves art and history.
But the art here isn't just locked away in galleries. Oh no, the entire city is a canvas. Make sure you check out the City Center Mural Trail. It's basically this amazing open-air art gallery with these massive building-sized murals by super talented street artists. It's a huge part of Glasgow's modern identity.
So, you've seen the sights, but what about living a little? Where do you stay? Where do you eat? Let's switch gears from sightseeing to lifestyle and figure out where you're going to find your perfect spot in the city. You've really got two main options, and they each have a totally different vibe. This chart helps you pick. The city center, in blue, is all about that hustle and bustle. Great shopping, historic buildings, and a buzzing nightlife. But if you're after something a bit more laid back, the West End, in pink, is where it's at. Think bohemian charm, beautiful green spaces like the Botanic Gardens and the fairy-lit cobblestones of Ashton Lane.
And when it comes to food, wow. Glasgow seriously punches above its weight. It's often called Britain's curry capital, and for good reason. You'll find some of the best Indian food anywhere. It's also a total powerhouse for street food and is famously one of the most vegan-friendly cities in the UK. And don't worry, you can still get all those traditional Scottish comforts, from a fancy afternoon tea to some classic store-and-away black pudding.
Okay, we have covered a lot of ground. So how on earth do you put all this together into a trip that actually makes sense? Let's build the perfect 48-hour blueprint.
First, some quick, essential intel. 2 to 3 days is really the sweet spot. It gives you enough time to see the highlights without feeling rushed. Try to aim for sometime between March and August for better weather and more daylight. But, and this is important, the weather rule here is 4 seasons in one day. Seriously, always pack a rain jacket, even if it's sunny when you leave your hotel. And for your budget, just remember to take full advantage of all those amazing free museums.
So here it is, your perfect action plan. Day 1 is all about the historic core. You'll start your morning at the Glasgow Cathedral and hiking the necropolis. In the afternoon, you can walk the mural trail and pop into Goma. Then for dinner, go dive into the awesome energy of a street food market. Then, on day 2, you'll hop on that Clockwork Orange subway over to the cultural West End. You can wander the Botanic Gardens, get lost in the university's magical cloisters, and spend the afternoon at the massive Kelvin Grove Museum before finishing your trip with some live music and a drink on Ashton Lane.
And once you feel like you've conquered the city, Glasgow is the perfect launchpad for seeing more of Scotland. You're less than an hour away from the incredible nature of Loch Lomond, the Trossachs National Park, about 45 minutes from the historic Stirling Castle, and it's basically your gateway to the beautiful Argyll Islands.
So, there you have it. We've broken down the history, the culture, and the one-of-a-kind personality of this incredible city. We've handed you the blueprint to explore it just like a local. So the only question left is, now that you've cracked Glasgow's code, where will your next adventure begin?